You ever hear something that just doesn't quite add up? Like, how can two totally different numbers be used to describe the exact same journey? Well, it's a classic physics puzzle, and the solution is actually pretty cool. Today, we're going to break down two ideas that get confused all the time: distance and displacement.
So, let's say you're planning a trip from Kathmandu to Pokhara. One friend tells you the journey is 200 kilometers. But then another friend, looking at a different kind of map, says it's negative 146 kilometers. Wait, negative? How can you travel a negative length? It sounds impossible, right? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to solve today. And trust me, the answer explains everything.
Okay, so first things first, let's start with the one we're all familiar with, the one your car's odometer and your GPS are always talking about. Let's talk about distance.
Simply put, distance is the total ground you cover. It's every twist, every turn, and every straightaway all added together. From the moment you leave your starting point to the moment you arrive. It's the literal length of the road beneath your tires.
And that's where that first number, 200 kilometers, comes from. That's the distance. It's the actual length of the Prithvi Highway that winds and weaves its way through the beautiful mountains of Nepal, connecting those two cities. It's the number that tells you how much driving you're actually in for.
And here's the most important thing to remember about distance. It is completely path-dependent. If you decide to take a little scenic detour to visit a village along the way, your start and end points haven't changed, but you've definitely tacked on a few extra kilometers to your total distance.
All right, 200 kilometers, check. That makes sense. But what about that other number? That's strange, -1. To get that, we need to meet distance's cousin, displacement.
See, displacement doesn't care about the winding road or the scenic route. It just draws one single, perfectly straight line from where you started to where you ended. You know the saying, as the crow flies? Well, that's displacement, right there.
And that is where our second number comes from. The 146 kilometers is the displacement. It's the direct straight-line measurement on a map, plowing right through any mountains or valleys that get in the way between Kathmandu and Pokhara.
This means displacement is completely path-independent. You could zigzag all over the country for hours, but as long as you start in Kathmandu and end up in Pokhara, your displacement is exactly the same. All that matters are those 2 points: start and end. That's it.
Okay, so this is starting to make sense, right? We've got distance, the long winding path, and displacement, the short, straight path. That explains the 200 versus the 146. But it still doesn't explain the weirdest part. Where on earth does that negative sign come from?
And here it is. This is the aha moment. The final critical piece of the puzzle that separates these two ideas isn't about length at all. It's all about direction.
To see how direction gives us that negative value, we just need to follow a really simple three-step process. First, we pick a starting point. Then we lay a kind of grid over our map. And finally, we assign which way is positive and which way is negative.
First up, we need an official starting line, what physicists call an origin. So for our journey, let's plant our flag right in Kathmandu. Everything is going to be measured from this 0 point.
Next, just imagine we're overlaying a simple grid onto our map, just like in math class. And we get to set a rule, a convention. Let's just decide that any movement to the east of our starting point is positive, and any movement to the west is negative. Simple as that. And now it all just clicks into place. Pokhara is to the west of our origin, Kathmandu, so its position falls into the negative direction on our little coordinate system. And that's why its displacement is negative 146 kilometers. The negative sign isn't telling us it's less than 0 kilometers long. It's simply telling us the direction. It's west. And to really see this in action, just imagine reversing the trip. If we start in Pokhara and travel to Kathmandu, our direction is now east, which we defined as positive. So the displacement becomes positive 146 kilometers. The number is the same, but the sign flips right along with the direction. Pretty neat, huh?
You know, this gets to the heart of the difference. On that winding road, your direction is constantly changing. That's why distance is what we call a scalar quantity. It only has a size, or a magnitude. But displacement is a vector quantity. It has both a size and one clear direction from start to finish.
So now that we've untangled these two ideas, let's put them head-to-head for a final, clear comparison.
So let's break it down. Distance is your total path length. Displacement is the shortest path. Distance depends on the route you take. Displacement only cares about your start and end points. And crucially, displacement has direction while distance does not. Now think about this last point for a second. If you run a 400-meter lap around the track, your distance is 400 meters. But because you end up exactly where you started, your displacement is 0.
This brings us all the way back to our original question. Our two friends planning that trip from Kathmandu to Pokhara. After all this, who was right?
And the answer is they were both correct. They weren't disagreeing on a fact, they were just using two different equally valid measurements. One was describing the distance, a scalar value, and the other was describing the displacement, a vector that included direction.
So we've totally cracked the code on how far. But this opens up a fascinating new question, doesn't it? If there are two completely different ways to measure how far you've gone, does that mean there are also two different ways to measure how fast you're going?